Hey there, and thanks for tuning in to Your Psychologist on Speed Dial, where I, Mary Beth Lavender, that advice-giving friend who probably overthinks more than you do, take your real-life questions to my go-to and licensed psychologist, Dr. Dean Hinnitz. Together, we hold space for the things that you might be afraid or unsure to ask anywhere else. You're in good hands. Let's get into it. Shall we? Yeah, the snaps. So how you doing, Dean?
Are we recording in this moment in time? Because I'm
We are.
drinking coffee.
We are recording in this moment in time, and that's okay because we're humans. We know that you need to drink coffee. I don't need to drink coffee.
I don't need it. I do it to make you feel more comfortable.
I appreciate that. I feel much more relaxed
I was already comfortable.
knowing that you're caffeinated. Are you doing well?
I'm doing, it's interesting when people ask that question, it's such a social norm that we don't often stop and just say, well, let me consider your question. Like, are you really asking?
I am.
And so when you ask, I really think. And the first thing that comes to mind is a new sheet of paper. Like, here we are, where we are, it's morning time. And I feel like new. I'm excited, I'm curious. We don't review any of these things ahead of time. So it's like, it'd be like being a cross-country runner and saying, we're going to throw you on all new terrain. You know you love to run, but you don't know anything about the uphills, the downhills, and what you're going to jump across. And I love that in this real moment in time.
It's exciting.
I am excited.
I like it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, let's get into it then. Our question for today is, why do I feel confident in some spaces but completely shrink in others? And how do I stop tying my worth to how others see me?
Well, there's two questions there, right? One is feeling like you have a certain amount of certainty. Nobody is born, like nobody with any, no kid comes out flying onto the table. That's how birth works. They don't come into the world thinking doorknobs. These big people seem to be able to use them. I think that's going to be beyond me. No child thinks doorknobs are beyond them. No child comes onto the planet thinking, well, walking, that's not going to be for me.
Yeah.
That there are certain experiences and bumps and bruises and appraisals from others that start to put dents in our belief system.
Right.
Each person develops a set of things that they have clarity, like people have believed in me and I've tried it and it's worked and I've developed a sense that I have this capacity.
Yeah.
And everybody, no exceptions, anybody watching this also has some places that they don't have it.
Yeah.
So for some people, the interpersonal situations, for some people there's physical mastery over their environment. For some people, they may have some sense of what they have artistry in. Mm-hmm. We all have some places that we go, this is my jam. Sometimes it's very simple, many things that we wouldn't think twice about, like drinking that cup of coffee.
Right.
But there's not anybody listening right now that doesn't have one place that goes, this place, this part, I lose some connection with who and what I really am or what might be possible.
Yeah, so the question, they did state they do feel confident in some spaces. Would it be beneficial for them to analyze why they feel confident in that space, what the feelings are that they feel confident in those space, and in the moments where they are in spaces that they don't feel confident, to try and tap into those moments where they do feel confident? Would something like that rewire their brain if they try to take that confident moment into a space where they're not confident?
In terms of developing confidence, first, it is exceedingly powerful and important to have people around you who see you as someone who is capable, successful, empowered. I mean, if you just think about, if you went to the gym and you were going to bench press and we put 2 extra little discs on each end of it,
Sure.
And it's more than you've done before, and there's somebody who's spotting you. You have a friend there who's capable of doing the thing with the bar. Think about the difference if that person looks at you and says, "You're adding 2?" Like, okay, I guess. I mean, I'm here, but maybe we should take this down a little bit. Like, you've never done two tens, let's put two fives on. You'll be laying there wondering, it would literally disempower you.
Yeah.
But if that person looks at you and says, we've been together for a while, you're Superman sometimes, or Superwoman. You got this. I'm here with you. Who is spotting you and what they believe about you? Actually, there's good data to support this. Will change by X number of pounds how much weight you can lift.
Yeah.
And the question is, in the weightlifting of life, who's around me? How do they see me?
Yeah.
In the subtlety of their facial expression, their belief system, not cheerleading,
Sure.
just legit from a place of sincerity. This is what I see you can do. The echoes of who is around you will determine a lot of your own belief system about the weight you can lift in life, so to speak.
Right.
Even though I'm saying this second, what may be even more powerful is an examination of the language that we use.
Okay.
To describe ourselves, to describe possibilities. There are few things in life that will determine the quality of your life more than what goes in and out of your mouth.
Right.
So the what goes in part, that would be a whole different
Yes.
story. What you eat, those sorts of things. Your speech literally steers your perception. And relatedly, you cannot outstrip your belief system, your self-concept of who you are and what you get to have in this world. And that has to be addressed and readdressed consistently and constantly. I worked with one person who was referred to me. I don't even know if anything was ever hard for them to learn. Went through, one of the top Ivy League schools and is doing whatever they do on the planet right now.
Yeah.
But as we met, I asked them about, in their early upbringing and childhood, about sports backgrounds and whether they had ever been with other people, been on a team. And he looked at me and said, well, no, I'm not an athlete. I don't have those kinds of abilities. I said, really? And he said, yeah. And I said, well, let's step outside for a second. And I took a ball from one of my shelves. I have all kinds of things in my office. And we went out in the street. And with no warning or preparation, we just started playing toss and then catch. And then I backed up. And in short order, actually surprisingly, with surprising skill, we were going after it and playing ball in the street. I said to him, we have good news and bad news here. He said, well, what is it? And I said, well, they're actually the same thing. And that is, you have all the physical capability you need. And of course, with this brilliant mind that was stoked and stroked and emphasized, and he was given the belief system that he couldn't play the sports that other kids played. That belief system kept him from even the simple experience of playing catch with another man. We all have some version of that.
Yeah.
We get told this is your IQ number, or you're an introvert, or you're an extrovert. Or so we'll buy some sort of steering that literally cognitively starts to shunt what we expect. And so in every aspect of life, who you think you get to date, what kind of fitness level you think you get to have, how much spiritual awareness, it doesn't matter. You can't outstrip your belief system, but you can challenge it and start to realize, wait a minute, I could be more of everything.
Right.
And I would say your job is to be more of everything.
Yeah.
And so it takes us into yet another realm, which is we have to explore, we have to experiment, we have to tip over on our bikes. Like, that's part of it. We have to try this thing out.
Yeah.
But focused, inspired action is always going to take us into a realm of more confidence, more achievement, more mastery, as long as we have some mastery along the way.
So for this particular person, would it be helpful for them to maybe start to catalog the negative stories that they're saying in their head, and to then stop that thought and introduce a new story? Like, let's say, for the longest time, I used to not think I was creative. I was like, I'm a producer. I'm not creative. I don't create things.
This like falling off my chair information. Like, you are legit one of the most creative beings in my life. So, like, really. To walk into your house and experience just even how you design your space, your humor. I've had the chance to see you swing a baseball bat. That would be worth some video.
Totally. Cut to.
It's just a beautiful example that we will say, I'm just keeping it real. Just being real. I'm not this or I am this. And there is no real. There just is a real perspective. And then we lock into it, convince everybody about that.
Right.
And then create the stage play that goes, I will have this role and I'm really this.
So for years and years, I'd be like, oh, I'm not creative, but I started doing some work on myself and examining and looking at how I was talking to myself, just like you were saying, like our words are so powerful. And one little incident that happened to me when I was younger was what spawned that thought in my mind. And I held on to that for so long. And then once I finally released that one little thought, that was it. I mean, for me, I had to kind of figure out where it was. And then I kind of went in, and I don't know if I know you're familiar with inner child work, mm-hmm. but if the listener isn't familiar with inner child work, it's a helpful system. At least it was for me to go down and what is called reparent myself and tell myself I was creative. And I would go down into these deep meditations where I was then letting that particular age child just be so creative and just do anything and everything that they want. And then I started bringing that into my real life of like, okay, what does my inner child want to do today? What do we want to do? And we would play or paint. Creativity can be found anywhere. All this to say, for this person who wrote this question in, who wants to untie their self-worth to what others have to say or what others have to think about them, would you recommend doing some type of like mirror work or some sort of journaling? What would be an action item for this person to kind of start to untether their worth to what others think of them?
Most of us can't walk around the block for 5 minutes and talk out loud about what we see coming in for ourselves, what we want to have happen. Again, if we said, I want to become the kind of person who is this or that, who experiences success in this area, who makes this kind of money, who has this kind of relationship. Here's what I see happening. Here's what I request of myself that I become a match to. And I would say practice literally walking and talking for a few minutes a day out loud about this is what's going to happen for me. Here's who I become. And number 2 would be this. Does it sound odd? Most people, when they ask things from the universe, when they pray, when they, whatever they do, they have a focus as if they're asking for something to be granted to them. Like, I hope this happens to me. Please let this be granted to me. But nothing can come your way that you're not prepared to receive. And so your request, your shift in consciousness, for some people, your prayer, if you will, would be, let me adjust, let me become the person who has the self-concept, the belief system, the knowing that I'm someone who gets to match with this great result that's going to happen. And I'll give you an example of this. So I teach up at the University of Nevada here, and I'll walk into class, and whether it's the first day or the 5th day, and I say to students, and this is very real for me as I teach, that part of my life matters a lot to me. If I say to the students, it really matters to me how you do, it matters to me where you go from this, and I want your lives to be very successful, I want you to be empowered and successful, and we're studying together, you're of value to me, and how your life turns out, as I said, matters. If I look around the room, some people right away go, I match up great with this professor. I finally found somebody who treats my individual experience as important, and this is real. And I was hoping college would be different than high school, and it is. Like, look at us. And then there'll be other people in the class who go, boy, this guy's got the professor wrapped down fine. Yeah, like he cares about us. There's 32 of us in the room right now. Like, he cares about us. Nice words, Doc.
Yeah.
And so your adjustment in all things must be, I am somebody who has become the person that this can come into their life.
Right.
Now that process always involves vulnerability. It always involves moments of exposure, uncertainty, a lack of skill. They say that when a 3-pound lobster is going to become a 5-pound one, they're out in the ocean doing lobster things. They don't get to keep the same shell they had. They have to leave that housing. There's maximum exposure, a whole different experience of life, and then they can grow their new home, which is now has 5 pounds of lobster available to them, and they become the thing. Well, our life process is always that. It never stops. If we have any kind of life running through us.
Yeah.
And so we have some sort of contrast. I'm here. I want this. I want to feel free. I want to feel happy. I want to feel joy. I want athletic accomplishment. I want to be able to get on stage and perform and not be looking and thinking about what the audience thinks of me. Well, what do you want to have? The ability to say it out loud, a shift in self-concept that says, I get to be that. I am that. Language that captures movement in that direction. And then vital, people around me who can already see the me that is that until I can catch up.
That's great.
Mic drop?
Mic drop. We're done here. Yeah. Okay, no, that's really great. Any final thoughts that you want to send to this person who asked this question?
There's evolutionary significance to being concerned about being accepted and approved of.
And we've been, told in so many ways all our lives, acceptance, 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 right? Measure, measure, measure.
And part of the intelligence of this question speaks to the degree to which we're bound to other people's approval and acceptance in order to be okay. We're in sort of behavioral jail. Right. Because we're looking around for the yeses and nos, the head nods in life. For everybody, it's going to be important to be connected. The
Sure.
fear of rejection and abandonment is universal, and we don't shed that. We have to strengthen and embolden the connection that we have, certainly with ourselves, which is, I know what I am, and I have a set of principles. If somebody said, well, what did Dr. Dean say about that, and what did Dr. Hint say about it? What he said was self-acceptance is much higher on the life satisfaction scale than self-esteem. And we've been chasing self-esteem, which is based on judgment, approval, and comparison endlessly. There's countless books on this. But the acceptance of, I know what I am and I'm on a path, I'm directional. And then I would say this, if we want to look at the self-esteem part that says I'm free of everyone's approval. None of us completely free of it, probably. This is like a math problem. The sum total of behaviors, thoughts, feelings, words, and actions you take that are in line with your values and what you think would make you some version of the ideal being that you want to be on the planet, like how you want to live. The sum total of behaviors that are in line, it's like a fraction, in line with your values and your ideals, will be your self-esteem. Mm-hmm. And if part of your self-acceptance says, we're all just learning to ride a bike. The bike has different forms. Sometimes the bike is called, how do I relate to other people? Sometimes the bike is called, I'm trying to get through school. Sometimes it's, I'm trying to figure out what to do now that I have a career and I don't like going to work, and so it looks like I'm going to do a different one. We don't yell at kids who tip over and go, you fell over? Like, really? You're part of my gene pool and you still fell? Like, we don't do that to a kid, hopefully.
Yeah, right.
But that process never stops. And so we go, let me have as many aligned behaviors today that are in integration with who I say I want to be.
Yeah.
And the more we do that, we stop looking around to go, was that in line with who I say I want to be? Because the judge becomes ourselves, and it's not really a judge, it's just a feedback generator.
Yeah. So when the inner critic starts to talk loudly You want to kind of stop that thought. I kind of, when my inner critic starts going, I say, would I say this to Dean? Would I say this to Erica? Would I say these words that I'm saying to myself now to anyone that I care about in my sphere? Oftentimes it's no. And then I change the language to something that I would say, something more positive, or something that in some ways I become my own cheerleader.
The question becomes this. If there is a voice in my head, what you'll call the inner critic, we have lots of things we say to ourselves. We're verbal creatures. It's been estimated we have like 50,000 thoughts a day or something like that, whoever counts these things. The question is always, did the language I used to describe myself empower me or weaken me? Did it strengthen me as a being? Did it lead in the direction of some sort of joy or fulfillment, or did it lead in the direction of some sort of frustration or negative self-evaluation? We can take information, use it as feedback.
Yeah.
But feedback should be empowering. Thoughts that empowering are like blessings to yourself. Thoughts that weaken or destroy, those are dark, and we don't want to attend to those. You want to, as someone once said, you treat them like sparks that landed on your sweater. You just don't really attend to them. You just keep going. You don't. What you stare at is going to be inflamed. So we want to be careful what we put energy into.
Thanks, Dr. Dean.
Thank you, Mary Beth Lavender.
You're welcome. Well, we hope that answered your question, or at least gave you something to sit with. And please keep us posted. We would love to hear how your process is going. And if you have something on your heart and mind and would like to submit a question, you can find the link in the show notes. We'd love to hear from you. Sending love your way. Until next time, take good care.